So you don't think that that's fucking with you?
I think it does, but I don't think it's like I've had allergies and I've not had allergies, and I've been using nicotine pouches both times. I don't think it's just
thank you for acknowledging that the nicotine pouches are always present when you have allergy responses.
But also when I don't have allergies, they're still present.
So your body is relatively healthy, and sometimes
my body's very healthy. I just have allergies.
But the fucking nicotine patches are what drag you down.
No, it's the cold air. It's the cold, dry air.
Yeah, because air is what's making you sick.
No.
Not chemical inserted into your cheek pouch.
Oh, no.
You hear how ridiculous your argument sounds?
Probably a little bit, but like...
A little bit?
Fucking... It's fine.
It's not fine.
It is fine. Go get some antibiotics.
For what? You don't have a bacterial infection.
I might have a sinus infection. It's been going on for so long.
And if you do, it's because you've kicked the shit out of your fucking immune system.
Fair.
So stop beating it up and allow it to fucking work. He doesn't like that.
MD, by the way.
Major dickhead? What's that stand for?
Medical doctor.
Oh. I am not a medical doctor, but I have as much qualification as most today do because I'm a dad.
No, that's not true at all.
You know, I know my body and I know my children's bodies. I know what makes them sick and what doesn't. Pretty sure I know that I can tell you when you're going to get sick. I know exactly the triggers that make you and your siblings ill.
Sure. But, like... You don't know how to do a pap smear.
You don't know that.
I hope you don't.
We're not going to talk about my personal life. What a weird fucking twist that was. Okay. So we were talking before we started about, do we want to talk politics? And I just think, and I don't know why I'm going to throw this. I started talking about the conspiracy theory a little bit, but I think it's worth talking about this one, that Trump just is planning to put in every state a National Guard contingency on standby, live in every state, which just is a precursor. Like, this has all been laid out.
When did that happen?
This is ongoing. He's planning on doing it. Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs is looking at the laws and the rules to see if she can resist it and whatnot. What I don't get, and this is something we can talk about in depth or whatever, but I want to say this and then come back to my point, but he doesn't follow the rules and laws, and then everybody else is like, well, let's see what our legal blah, blah, blah. Like, no, just do what he does and say no. And just kick him out and say, get the fuck out. And then let him sue you rather than you sue him, because when you sue the federal government, the Supreme Court goes, well, we're going to wait and see. So don't change anything until. Your microphone is crooked. Just put it dead center.
I did. Okay, it's good.
So what's clearly happening is he's doing every little thing he can and a whole bunch of things he can't to prepare for nullifying the election and or creating a state of emergency.
Do you remember where we ended off the podcast last time?
Vaguely.
Because we were talking about this.
Yeah, go ahead.
And then you were like, you brought it up of how much time does he really have? You think he has dementia. He had that one like health condition with his blood vessels or whatever.
Tiny Venus or something like that. I don't remember what it was called.
So
insufficient Venus something or other.
Venus, I'm pretty sure.
He's
old. He's old as shit.
He's old and he eats Big Macs, McDonald's, and Diet Coke.
How
Sure.
old is Cito? Like 85?
They're about the same age.
No, Cito's older.
Cito, grandpa, is, how old is he? He was born in 37, so 88?
Holy shit, he's 88.
I think so. That's the math. Because
Damn.
we're in 25, he was born in 37.
Well, I mean, Cito was having health problems 10 years ago. He wouldn't have been fit to be president 10 years ago. You know what I mean? And so, my whole thing is
You switch gears from running again to how long he's going to be around. But
I don't think he's going to run again because I don't see where he personally benefits from that. Other than because he's going to take his money, he's going to take Air Force One because, they're making a fucking lot of money right now.
yeah, they're making a killing. And right
Not
now,
just him, like Barron.
here's the next level. Like, they're floating the idea of of Don Jr. running for president. What you have to understand is it doesn't matter if Trump were to die today. All the bullshit he's doing wouldn't go away. And I can prove it because all of these...
No, because the
Wait, hold on. All of the fuckheads that are supporting him, they're not supporting him. They're supporting the ideals of the people pulling the strings. Trump is the puppet, and as long as those with the money and the power allow somebody like him to be in quote-unquote power...
Who is supporting his ideals? What are his ideals? Because I don't think he has concrete ideals, so he...
Well, no, he does. You're missing...
I disagree. I think that they are supporting Trump. They're not supporting his ideals. They just don't really understand that.
I don't think they don't understand it.
I'm talking about like his hardcore MAGA supporters.
His ideals are power absolutely runs the show. That the person with the power is in charge. And hold on, his ideals are I can grab women by the pussy because if you're rich and famous, they let you do that. He said that under oath in a deposition. He believes that he can do whatever he wants because he's rich and powerful. And that's what people are supporting because those that want to support that want those same ideals because they're in power. They can do what they want.
Well, when it comes to the civilian supporters, I think a lot of people grasp to Trump because they have never had any sort of like power themselves. They've never had I'm the boss, I can say this. Like, people get off on his alpha mentality of I can just swing my dick around and do whatever I want. And people are like, yeah, I like that. Because they've never had that feeling. They've always been
He says, I'm fighting for you. And they think that he's fighting for you.
Yeah, and they've always been handcuffed. And, like, it's kind of like the Andrew Tate in a sense. Where, like, all these kids, it comes down to what we've talked about in previous podcasts of the lack of culture in the United States leaves people without a purpose, and then they feel powerless, and then they grasp onto people who are saying, be a man, yada, 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 which, I think that it's very important to be like, masculine and everything, but they're not doing it the right way. They're not masculine. I would not say Trump's a masculine person.
I get your point, but I think it's, and I say this with love.
It's the lack of masculinity in the United States.
It's a short-sighted view.
Trump, like, oh my God, that guy is such an alpha. He is just this powerful guy who can do whatever he wants, and he's fighting back against all the pussy liberals and this and that, the snowflakes. It's purely because we as a people do not have a strong enough culture, have a strong
when you say
enough
culture, we have
family.
lots of culture. You're using that word improperly. We have a bunch of culture. It's just disgusting. The culture is, let's stay asleep, let's not be woke, let's be mindless, let's eat junk food.
We don't have a conscious culture.
We do, yeah. For those that have a conscious culture, they're called woke, and that's a bad thing. Dave Chappelle put it correctly. Dave Chappelle came out and said it really beautifully. He said that Trump says he's fighting for those little people, but he's not. He's fighting for the billionaires. Time and time again, he's proven that. Trump takes advantage of the poor white group by telling them he's fighting for them, by instilling fear in them about guys in women's bathrooms against black people, against Asian people, whatever fucking stereotype, people in eating pets in Illinois or wherever that was. Like, it's just using fear to get people to go, well, I don't want the fear. And that's why they don't want them to wake up. Because when you wake up, you see what's really happening. You hear the bullshit for what it is. And then you go, well, that's not real. Hold on. If they realize that is not real, Then they don't listen to the bullshit. But that's why that bullshit meter is so high, because people like your grandparents, if that Fox News is on 24/7, then it just infiltrates your brain. That's what we talked about before about public relations versus propaganda. It's the same thing. You inundate a message, people believe it. That's the power of the unconscious mind.
I think Trump uses fear, but I also think his message worked because people have been living in fear.
Of what?
For a lot of people, like day-to-day life. We have made day-to-day life as an American very go to work, pay your bills, watch some football.
Yeah, you're talking about the American dream being a lie. That's not fear, that's a lie. Difference,
But
still
it's
powerful,
still
but it's
fear.
different. It's not fear, it's a lie.
Many people live in fear. Think about all the stressors that people have.
I'm not arguing that people don't live in fear, but that wasn't the message he propagated. He propagated that we have been lied to, and if you don't elect me, they're coming for you.
Right, and that was the first time people felt any type of empowerment because people started to realize we are being lied to.
That's not the first time. You're too young to have been around for the other elections, what I've seen. That's been used, but never so...
Everybody's using it
not so fucking grotesquely.
intensely as well. Like, yes, but he played on that, and he manipulated the people because people are very manipulatable. So once again, like...
But it's not just him. You got to understand the supporters of him.
The supporters... the supporters of him being civilians or politicians? What?
Stop playing with your fidget toy. It's making too much noise.
Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We'll get you a quiet fidget spinner. What was your last question?
When you say his supporters, are you talking about civilians or are you talking about the politicians? Because if we're talking about civilians,
it doesn't matter.
They don't know the difference between their head and their ass.
But neither do most politicians. They just want what they want. They want the power so that they can do what they want, so they can take the bribes. There's so much evidence of the bribery and corruption.
You're right, and we're talking about fact that nobody knows the difference between their head and their ass, and that's the problem.
He just pardoned CZ, the guy who, the finance guy. When asked, he said, I don't know. He pardoned him, but he says he doesn't know. But he's the one who allowed for the Trump coin to come out, and where he made a couple of $1 billion off fleecing his supporters, these brilliant motherfuckers who go, I believe in Trump, I'm going to give him a bunch of money because this crypto is a righteous thing, falls in value, Trump takes the value, and they get fucked again with his gold shoes and his Trump Bible and all these things. He's just grifting.
I don't think we're disagreeing.
We're not disagreeing, but it's not fear.
It's a multitude of things. For the most part, it's just lack of education. It's not knowing the difference between your head and your ass. That's like the biggest thing. It's just
what we talked about last time was fact
on.
versus belief. I saw Neil
And nobody knows the difference between fact and belief, and most people think that their beliefs are facts. Almost everybody believes that their belief is fact.
Right. I agree. They believe that. But
that's my belief, and that's a fact.
I believe it, therefore it's true. And that used to be a snowflake position. That if you had a belief system, people would call you a snowflake. Your beliefs don't matter. There's that, we talked about this early on, the Calvin cartoon, pissing on your beliefs, right? Like, nobody gives a fuck about your beliefs, Mr. Snowflake. I just watched, it was that Nazi, Stephen Miller's wife was on a talk show, and they said, your husband's full of shit. He's got horrible ideas.
Who's Stephen Miller?
He's the Nazi that's on Trump's cabinet, or I don't know if he's in the cabinet, but he's his, one of his, whatever they call him.
You know, I find it really weird to I don't know, it's so funny when somebody calls Stephen Miller a Nazi, but he's supporting Trump, who supports Israel, whose whole thing is we can't let the Nazis come back.
It's interesting. Well, here's what happened. Let me tell you what happened.
Goes into our conversation, which we can say, I'll let you go, but which goes into our conversation of, I don't even know if we talked about this on air or not, but all of a sudden everybody now believes that Jews are the problem, Israel is the problem. But it's been made so obvious that we're sitting here and now we're like, was that just a smokescreen? Because you got Nazis
that
and
goes
Jews,
to the big conspiracy I want to talk about.
The exact, they're both kind of in power, and yet they're working alongside each other. Is it?
We're getting to the point where you go, oh my God, I understand what the Nazis were saying. Because Israel, and it's not the Jewish people. The Jewish people as a whole, as individuals, are amazing people. They're just humans, just like the rest of us. But as an ideology, as a government, and as a religion-based government, it's the most corrupt, vile thing now, only because it's been co-opted by power-hungry, corrupted people. And to that point, Stephen Miller's wife, who by no means has anything to say, was on a talk show, and they basically said, well, your husband's ideas, he's doing horrible things with America. And she went off the deep end about, oh my God, you're attacking Israel. And everybody on the panel was like, no, we're not attacking Israel. There's not a veiled threat. This isn't coded language. We're saying your husband's a dick shit, and you are a fucking snowflake because you can't differentiate between a personal attack and anti-Semitism. They have co-opted that idea of anything that goes against what they beliefs is an attack against their religious and political structure. And that has made them a target to go, wait, if this is who they are, yeah, that's not good for humanity. And then they go, well, see, everybody's against us. No, you're coming out and killing innocent civilians, creating a genocide. We're against that. And if that makes me a Nazi to be against genocide, that's a contradiction in terms, then call me what you will, but I'm against people who create and execute genocides. No, thank you. So that the snowflakeness has been turned around by this victim mentality. Yeah, what happened to the Jews and everybody else during the Holocaust of World War II, horrible. But they leveraged that with fear against their people and the rest of the world to act like they could do no wrong. And that has been propagandized to the IDF, and that's why they mock when they go, hey, I'm going to shoot this kid in the knee who's playing soccer. They do target practice on children.
So it's a lack of accountability within oneself, because accountability does not get you voted in.
It's not a lack of accountability with oneself. Hold on. Let me make the answer. Don't interrupt. It's not. I don't agree that it's a lack of accountability with the self. It's a lack of accountability within the law.
Which I can then say that it's a lack of accountability to oneself, because if I'm not holding myself accountable, you're not holding yourself accountable, nobody else is holding themselves accountable, we're not going to hold each other accountable. Now we're in this mindset of we can do no wrong, which now skews these laws. It starts with the individual, and it just branches off. And it starts with, I can't do anything wrong, and you believe what I believe, so you're in the right too. You can't do anything wrong. Well, what about when you were talking to that 17-year-old? Who was that one guy who did that?
Matt Gaetz?
Matt Gaetz.
Oh,
well, you were talking to a 17-year-old.
You have to be more specific with politics. Fine. Who was talking to the underage girl? Please, be more specific.
And then it's that, you know.
You're talking personal responsibility.
It starts minuscule, and it just grows and grows and grows.
Well, we talked about this again earlier, so let's flesh it out a little bit more. The idea of I rape and murder as much as I want, which is exactly zero. That's Penn Jillette's statement, and I love it, and I stand by it. I don't agree with all his beliefs, but if somebody is, to your point, accountable to themselves, that's great if what they believe in matches the societal norm. If I raped and killed as much as I want, and that was a little bit, and I'm accountable, like I'm allowed to rape once or twice a year, and I'm allowed to kill up to 4 times a year. If that was my mental state, and that's what I truly believed, then we'd have a problem, because I'm accountable to myself. I only raped once and killed twice this year. I'm below my metrics. It's not about being accountable to me. It's about being accountable to humanity. We have a system that says there are laws and rules, but you can buy your way out of it with power or money.
You have a sense to serve humanity, which means holding yourself accountable.
It's a cookbook.
Do the right things.
You don't know that reference?
No.
There's an old Twilight Zone.
You just interrupted me while I was in the middle of the talk.
I know, it was brilliant, but
That's terrible podcast behavior. Terrible. It's like a cardinal sin. You don't interrupt somebody while they're podcasting.
Please go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, fuck. I forgot what I was going to say.
You were talking about the whole point of serving humanity.
Yeah. I think you heard what I said.
I didn't, actually. I was too busy making a Twilight Zone reference.
Oh, fuck.
No, I was talking about like the sense of accountability I have for myself versus externally to humanity.
You have a responsibility to humanity to serve and be the best person you can be within the societal norms, which starts with self-accountability. I could probably go punch a homeless dude in the face at 2 a.m. and get away with it, but it's wrong, societally, right? That's
Are you
lawfully,
asking?
that's assault.
Societally, but
So
that's
I
different
have to
than the
hold
laws.
I have to hold myself accountable to do the right things within the law, and then we could talk about, well,
But I'm gonna call your bullshit. Cause you, by the way, did you take care of that parking ticket?
yeah,
You're lying.
I am.
I fucking know it. That's on my record. Fix it.
Okay.
I'll have a warrant for my arrest if you don't get that. It's called a bench warrant. If I don't show up to court and I have a court date and I don't take care of it, can you please not let that?
I'll pay it right after the podcast.
Verbal's binding. It's your ass. The personal accountability that you're talking about, went off track here, but you're saying that you could go punch somebody and get away with it. You feel like, because of the privileged white boy that you are, you feel like getting a parking ticket is just the fine for your convenience. That's how rich people feel. You ain't got the money for that kind of it, but you somehow came away with that mentality. It's not what I taught you, but kudos to you for having it.
Well, it's kind of a good mentality to have.
But that's my point, is you just said I can go punch somebody and get away with it. You're not accountable. You don't want to go punch somebody, I hope. You might want to punch your cousin or some shit, but you don't want to punch people because you just have this innate rage and you need to fucking express that. You use that as an example. Like, I could go do this. I could go down the street and speed. Same thing. Violate the law, get away with it. But there's levels and layers of that, and you don't really want to do that. Like, you want to speed because you want to be in control. You don't want to punch somebody because causing beef is against your principles, your core values. So when you say I could do that, but I can get away with it, you're acknowledging that it would be against the rules.
My whole point is, I can speed because I know it won't affect anybody else but me. I can get a parking ticket because it won't affect anybody else other than me.
Except me, because that's in my
but
name.
like, you get what I'm saying.
If it doesn't affect anybody else, but punching somebody,
that's going to affect somebody. I don't want to get socked in the face. It hurts.
Oh, so you're only doing it because of the outcome.
What do you mean? I'm doing it because if I want to take risks that only affect me, I'll take risks that only affect me.
Yeah, but speeding doesn't only affect you. See, that's really short-sighted because you're too young.
I see what your point is you might put other people in danger if I'm going 10 over and I get into a car accident. Sure. But
it doesn't matter.
But you also understand, like, it's...
We're talking victimless crimes.
Here's the nuance.
You're talking about victimless crimes.
The nuance is, yes, in theory, if I speed and I get into an accident, the injuries, the damage could be a lot worse because I was going faster. Sure. But if I'm a good driver and I want to go 10 over the speed limit, and I've never gotten into an accident, and I've avoided plenty of accidents while speeding, like...
Why do you think there were so many that you had to avoid?
Because people are going too fucking slow on the road. I'm just kidding. Well, no, bad drivers are bad drivers. Like,
you're talking about victimless crime. So if you do things that don't directly affect somebody else, that's different than
somebody else or society. If anything, me getting a speeding ticket helps society because that's $100 more to the taxpayers or to the taxes that are getting paid.
I call you short-sighted because it's been shown through studies, and this is just statistically speaking. Everybody thinks they're better than average driver. I happen to know you are. I might insert not there as well, but I happen to know you are because I trained you how to drive. You're very smart, you're very quick, but if you've got your allergies and you decide to speed and you sneeze a bunch, you could cause problems.
But also, if I'm sneezing a bunch, I'm not going to fucking be going 10 over.
I don't think that would stop you.
If I'm in... No, like, there's plenty of times where, like, my allergies are acting up, or I might get a bloody nose on the road, and nope, I'm just going to go the speed limit. Try to just get home as safely as possible. Because I understand there's times where, like, yeah, if I got a coffee in me, I'm dialed, I'm locked in, I'm getting to work, I'm going to go 10 over. I'm aware, I know there's no cops around. If there's a cop, I'll slow down. Like, and also, cops don't really enforce 10 over speeding because they understand that that guy's going 10 over, but he's not really...
10 over's pushing it depending on where you are, especially Old Town.
Not here. If you go into Old Town, yes. But if you're on Hayden, everybody goes 10 over. So at that point, then you're impeding the flow of traffic if you're going 45.
But let's get back to the point. The specific nuances, you're talking about victimless crimes. If you speed, if you don't put your shopping cart back, this, that, the other. If you do things that are...
Not putting your shopping cart back affects other people. It affects the people who have to get the shopping cart back.
Right, but then the counter-argument, and I'm not saying this is my stance, but the counter-argument is they pay people to go collect those carts. And if we all put those carts back, then they would employ one less person, because if all the carts went back, then they would stay inside the store, and we would never have to go collect the carts. So it would be less job creation. It's anti-capitalism. You're a communist.
Or maybe the people that do have the jobs, you're just trying to help them out. When you go to a restaurant, some people are going to stack their plates and make their table all tidy before they leave.
But do you like that or do you hate that?
Depends on how you do it. If you work in the service industry, you know how to stack plates properly. But if people are just stupidly stacking shit, and you're like, okay, well now I have to unstack this because if I try to pick it up, it's all going to fall. There's a difference.
Either you know Jenga or you don't.
Exactly. Like, there's good etiquette and there's bad etiquette. Not putting your shopping cart back, I get it. You're taking one job away. Or the people that do have those jobs, you're just good etiquette of helping those people out.
But what is etiquette? Isn't that social norms?
That's what we've been talking about.
Okay, so let's bring this back to something a little more impactful. The bulk of American culture and political culture is based on norms. And they haven't been laws in place, and all the presidents up until now, well, 2 presidents ago and then this president, have abided by the cultural presidential norms. Trump says there's no law saying I can't fuck kids, so he goes out and does that, and goes, there's no law that says I can't, except that there is, and then he gets the Supreme Court to go, well, we're not going to look into it. Or whatever happens. Societal norms start at the top, wouldn't you agree?
No. No, not.
You don't think that's where it should? I'm sorry, I'm asking, should it start there? I know it doesn't right now, but...
Also, no. We live in a democracy. The social norms should be what we decide as people. It shouldn't start at the top. The top should be serving us. We should be the people in power, and they should be the ones listening to us.
So let's take that, let's remove societal norms, social norms, and put in laws.
We should decide what laws are which.
We absolutely should. We elect lawmakers who then change the laws to say we can take all this PAC money, we can take APAC money, we can give money to them and they can funnel it back to us illegally. We have campaign finance reform that we disallow. We're going to then change the rules because of the societal norms that we don't have laws for. Like this whole thing, this whole country is an experiment, and can we regulate ourselves? And it seems that man, meaning men, women, children, and all, are not civilized enough to go, we can do this together. Because there's enough people that are willing to buck the system to say, we can manipulate this for our own gain.
Yes.
But we elect them. How is it that you say that it starts at the bottom? Is this why open revolt is the only way forward?
Yes.
There you have it. Tune in next time.
I think to an extent we as people failed, but also to an extent you fuck up a vote one time, you put the wrong person in power one time, and now they are power hungry, they change the laws, they do everything to benefit themselves, they take PAC money, and it's going to create a domino effect of what we have seen now, where everybody voted for Trump because he was going to release the Epstein files. He was going to drain the swamp. He was going to do all these things to bring the power back to the people. And he said all those things. That's what he ran on. And then what did he do? None of that.
I'm not going to touch the East Wing. And then they literally have reports that saying, let's do it at night so that once it's destroyed the next day, oops, sorry, we can't go back. Literally have him on tape saying that.
He didn't do a single thing. And it wasn't the people's fault that they believed somebody who was running.
Yes, it is.
To an extent, but also...
Wait, hold on. I challenge that. I want to challenge that, very importantly. I remember when he first ran and first got elected, and it was a few days before the election, and the tape came out. Before the election, said, yeah, grab him by the pussy. Anybody who voted for him after that fucking moment, because that was so widespread that you had to be living under a rock to not know that Trump said that. And everybody that I've seen confronted with that goes, well, you know, boy, they've justified it. There is a lack of moral compass in this country.
Lack of moral compass and lack of education and lack of empathy.
I don't think education's important. So, I don't think education is a function of it. Yeah, we're a dumb country. I don't argue with that. But I don't think because I don't think you need to be educated to say, is it a smart debate? Is it about intelligence when you go, should you or should you not grab him by the pussy? If you waver on that, you should not be in the room making decisions. Not because of your intelligence, but because of your morals. Maybe it's just me because I've got daughters. My mom was a woman. My grandma was a woman.
Your mom was a woman?
All of them. I've got a whole line of women.
That's pretty crazy.
I've got a whole line of women. So do you, above you. You got a whole line. Your mom was a woman. Did you know that? It's crazy to think.
Not much.
But my point is that it's not an intelligence. It's a moral character issue.
Both.
I know some really dumb people who are really fucking moral. And I know most rich people err on the side of lack of morals because they're diametrically opposed, because capitalism is not set up to fund the meek.
Yes, it is.
Capitalism's set up to fund the aggressive.
Our capitalism isn't. Well, to fund the what?
The aggressive. Aggressor. You got to be You got to be taking risks. You got to jump at.
But we're not talking. We're not talking about American capitalism, because that's not really what we are anymore.
Wait, what? All capitalism. I'm talking about
the concept of capitalism benefits the aggressor, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that, as long as you have rules in place that, you don't put kids in sweatshops. You run a morally sound business.
Yeah, the kids belong in the bedroom.
You take. That might, if you're ever famous, that's going to get cut up, and that's going to look really
Yeah, listen to the whole context. I can back it up. I'm not worried. Capitalism favors the aggressor. We're in late-stage capitalism because we don't have the guardrails.
It needs because the whole thing was capitalism does not support monopolies. And we talked about this last podcast. We might be going into circles. And I kind of want to segue off. I think for the most part we agree.
Well, here, let me throw this conspiracy out. Let's shift this.
Well, I wanted to shift into something too.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I wanted to shift into Charlie Kirk a little bit.
I thought that subject was dead.
Well, he's dead, but the subject isn't.
Talking about getting cut up.
Yeah, we might have to fucking take that one out.
Okay, what about Charlie Kirk?
One, this might be insensitive to say, but Erica Kirk seems to be off.
She's batshit crazy, but I'll give that a pass because she was involved in this horrible dude's circle. She was a player before she met him. She was trying to play the game. She was on Trump's team before him. We talked about that.
She was Miss Arizona.
Right. She wanted to be famous, and she wanted to do that at any cost.
She was doing an orphanage in Estonia or Romania with the help of Trump or something. Odd that she was.
You got to feed the system.
Funneling kids.
You're gonna have child brides, right? She's in the swamp. So for her to be off now, when you lack morals and something emotional happens, it's not like you have a game plan on how to behave.
As soon as
you're interrupting my sentence, but go ahead.
Well, I'm not a good podcaster. It's only my 4th ever podcast. Give me a break.
Please go on. Do you hear my point, though? I think it's an important point to make, which is when you're in the swamp and your morals and your ethics are compromised out of a desire just to be rich, famous, and powerful, when something catastrophic happens, it's really hard to navigate because your emotions have been stunted. She doesn't know how to behave with a dead husband because, who does, first of all?
I'm not sure if she... I don't know. I mean, my conspiracy is deeper than that. I don't think that she's stupid or she doesn't know how to behave with a dead husband. I think she was part of it. I do.
You think she had him off? Is that what you're saying?
I don't think she had him off.
I wonder how much
think she
his life insurance was.
conspired.
How much was his life insurance?
Fucking hefty. He sold his house too a couple months before he died, maybe a year before he died.
He sold his house?
Yeah, it was like an $8 million house.
Stop clicking that.
Sorry.
Did they move somewhere? What do you mean they sold their house? Did they...
I don't know. But you look at the facts of... As soon as Charlie Kirk starts criticizing Israel, as soon as Charlie Kirk...
Or refuses to stop. Yeah.
He starts to criticize Israel in certain senses. He still says, yeah, like, I support Israel, but this stuff isn't right. Same way you can support America and be like, this stuff isn't right.
Ooh, to that point, the guy they claim that shot him, ran across the roof, disassembled the rifle, went to the forest, reassembled it, and then left it behind and went home. Like, in like such a short amount of time. Like the amount of information, and I guess the best way to put it is Kash Patel completely fucked that investigation up. None of it makes sense.
Fuck it, or was he told to fuck it? Hey, your job is fine because I'm Trump.
Say this.
You're gonna have to do me a favor here. You're just gonna have to.
But to your point about intelligence, there's no way Trump said that. It's somebody on the team. The powers that be said, here's the plan. Same thing with JFK.
Sure, but
Back into the left my ass.
as soon as Charlie Kirk starts criticizing Israel, he gets dropped.
What are you saying? You think that's... Well, I heard, and I don't remember who it was. It was one of these fairly intelligent... I don't know if he's got a podcast or if he's just got his own YouTube show or what it is, but he's been on a lot of debates lately. And somebody was talking about like Israel and the power that they have. And he's like, no, that part's over. They've lost. The young generation is absolutely against Israel. They get it. They've got a moral compass. And they're like, Israel's done. And so that Israel knows that. They're not stupid to know that the upcoming generation is not going to support their genocide and their atrocities. So Israel then says, okay, we have to push harder and faster than ever because we've been found out. So that's why we're going to have a ceasefire. And then they go in the next day and start killing people. And nobody's offended by it. Well, not nobody, but like it's allowed to happen because rules and laws do not apply to those with power. So to your point, Charlie Kirk, if he's like got one of the biggest voices and he can influence right-wingers.
I mean, he certainly was a big factor of getting Trump elected.
I agree.
He's a massive factor. If not, like, without Charlie Kirk, you could argue that Trump wouldn't have gotten elected.
They would have found somebody else to...
Without the influence that Charlie Kirk had. And my whole point was, you know, Charlie Kirk starts criticizing, and then they offer him a bunch of money, and he goes, I don't want that money.
I want blood money. Good
and then
for
he
him.
goes, fine, don't take the money and just come to Israel. And he goes, I'm not coming to Israel.
This is Candace Owens' points, right?
Yes, Candace Owens is completely... And she was super close with Charlie Kirk. They were really, really good friends.
Close.
I doubt it. But, like, they were... You know, they believed in the same things.
Okay.
And then Candace Owens just released some texts of her and Charlie Kirk. And what you should do, editor, is you should pull up the text on the screen right here because I'm gonna biff it. But
I'll insert text right here.
Essentially, what Charlie Kirk said, I think he was like talking about a Kanye song because they both love Kanye West, and he has good music.
Whatever. Go on, make your point.
He's batshit crazy, sure, but he's really good music. Anyways,
most artists have an element. Go ahead.
Yeah, look at Michael Jackson. He touched kids. Anyways,
he touched us all, and I didn't get no money from it. Anyways, go on.
The texts were something of, oh yeah, this Kanye song. He was praising Candace, and he was like, he equated her to somebody, like a figure, like a historic figure. And he goes, I think he said Moses, and I wish I was a little bit more touched up on like the biblical thing, but he was saying basically if this turns out how I think it's going to turn out, it's not going to be good.
Give me what
For himself. He was basically saying, like...
He saw the writing on the wall. He's like, I have a moral compass that I have to abide by. Everything else was gray for me, and I did what I did because I believed in it. But if I don't do this, I'm fucking dead. Is that what you're saying?
To an extent. He didn't say if I don't do this, I'm dead. He was just like, I think I know what's going to happen. He was like, I know this is, like, depressing to say, but, like, I'm pretty sure, like, I know how it's going to go. I keep having dreams about it.
What? Like, tell me. I don't know. I don't know these texts.
I mean, you can pull it up, right?
I'll do that later. But
he was alluding to the fact that he was going to get killed.
Okay. Is it painfully obvious, or is that a belief that's being propagated by propaganda?
What do you mean?
Like, if I were to read the text, would I see it, or would I have to struggle to see it? Would I have to know more stuff to see it?
No.
It's obvious?
It's obvious.
Okay. Well, I'll pull that up and I'll read it, and I'll put the link below of that stuff. Oh my God. I need to get you a fidget toy. I don't doubt it. Like, literally, that's...
So, I think he truly believed in what he believed in, and he had certain very extreme views of certain things, like abortion and things like that. But I also believe that he was more honest than anybody. I mean, he was criticizing Trump. He was telling Trump, don't bomb Iran. Do not bomb Iran.
That's not a criticism, that's a request.
Sure. But he went to Trump personally and was like, don't do it. Don't get yourself... Like, why are we getting involved in, other conflicts? And then Trump fucking chewed him out. And so it's like, you see Charlie Kirk start, not agreeing with the powers, and you see him get shot, and then you see nothing add up to the investigation. For anybody to sit there and be like, it was just a crazy guy who didn't like Charlie Kirk, what facts do we have on the investigation other than, like, text that looked like ChatGPT itself? You know what I mean?
Well, that's where we get into beliefs versus facts. Like, this is why the blockchain is so important.
But if we don't have enough facts, then all we can do is form beliefs. And if the most common sense belief is to sit there and be like, things aren't adding up, he knew he was going to get rocked. He started to criticize the two most powerful countries in the world, two most influential countries in the world. Yeah, it makes sense. He got killed.
Yeah, I don't...
And I think Charlie Kirk was a good person.
And you know what? Let me say that. In defense of your argument, which I'm not saying I agree with, but I won't take a stand yet. But in defense of your argument, it is very interesting that as soon as that happened, the entire right-wing blogosphere and news media, everything was immediately on point. The left is so violent.
That's what you do. You fuck up and you're going to blame somebody else. Deny.
But
Caleb his big motto of, like, if he gets caught up in some shit, which, like, obviously it's not morally sound, but deny, counter, accuse.
Of course. That's the weak-minded...
But the smartest thing to do is accuse, deny, counter, accuse.
Smart is a very derogatory way to look at that, but my point is...
Strategic.
My point that I'm trying to make, I agree with you. It's a great tool to divide. That's a great tool to divide.
And get the heat off yourself.
But it's not just the heat off yourself. This goes to the bigger conspiracy is, if they shoot somebody and then they blame somebody, it was like 9/11. We paid for those planes to fly into the buildings, and then we go, oh my God, there's weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. What left does not equal right in that scenario. There's nothing that matched up with
Iraq
that.
or Iran?
It was Iraq at the time. That's why we went in after Saddam Hussein in Iraq. Okay. The Iraqi war. That was, trust me, you're too young.
But Saddam Hussein was pre 9/11. It was Osama bin Laden.
Here's a little history lesson. George Bush, #1, had beef with Saddam.
Well,
hold on.
Saddam and Osama were both CIA assets.
Their families were good. We installed him. We installed Saddam Hussein.
Yes.
We installed, like the Hussein family and the Bushes are besties. But he had beef with Saddam. Then another president comes in, and then George Bush Jr., actually it wasn't Jr., but George Bush II comes in, plans 9/11, inside job, based on Operation Northwood, look it up, link below, that says if we bomb our own tower, our own buildings, we can blame it on, and back Northwood it was like Cuba.
There are blueprints of...
There's blueprints of it. And they came out, and the first thing they said was, there's no way we could have known about this. Everybody from Rumsfeld, Condoleezza Rice, everybody said, deny. There's no way we knew about this. They had Operation Northwood from the 60s, talking about the Cuba Missile Crisis.
Yeah.
They were planning on doing this
false flags.
Total false flag situation. So as soon as it happens, they go, oh, it was all these Saudis that did it, so let's go kill people in Iraq.
At what point are we conspiring, or at what point are we... Like, sometimes I think to myself, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, I'm just looking at all the facts that add up to a different conclusion than what we were told. And the only reason that, well, I guess in history it comes out all the time that this is what was believed to be to have happened, but this is what actually happened. Like it's we're constantly being lied to.
We have been for, it's not new.
Hundreds of years.
But here's how Trump won. This goes back to one of your earlier points. Trump won because he came out and said the system is rigged. Rigged against you for me and my people. And Hillary knows it. And she won't say it because it's her and her friends that win because of the system. But what nobody knew at the time when he was saying that, they were friends. Yeah. He won because of the system. He was winning in America because of her corruption. So he called out the swamp, and everybody's like, yeah, fuck the swamp.
I mean, in fairness, he did admit, he goes, yeah, I do use those tax loopholes because you and your friends use them too.
And he's like, and it makes me smart that I use them. He said that. He wasn't smart, but...
It was one of those where people sat there and go, oh shit. He didn't deny the fact that he was corrupt, but he also understood.
Right, they got a sense of truth. He spoke something true that they go, oh, that makes sense. And when then he said, that's the best way to convince somebody. That's a sales tactic 101. You tell them a truth, you tell them something obvious, you get them to agree that what you just said was true, and then you say what you want, and they have to go, well, I trust you. True, true, true. Yeah, whatever you say. It's called leading and pacing. And if you ever watch a webinar online, it's like, hey, we've been talking for 40 minutes now, and I've shown you this, and you want this, so it makes sense that you do this. Lead, pace. The next thing you say is, well, yeah, sure, okay. It's leading and pacing. It's a sales and an NLP technique. And that's what he did. It said, the system is corrupt, and I'm going to drain the swamp. Yeah, the system is corrupt. Please, don't go do that. He just led and paced us.
Yeah.
That doesn't make him right. It kind of makes him evil, because instead of doing what he said, and this is what I don't get, is he didn't do anything the first time, except he exposed the racism of America. People are like, oh good, he's fighting for me. No, he didn't do anything. Like people, to your point about the education, people were saying, yeah, my taxes were this, that, and the other. And he's like, yeah, well, I just remember watching interviews where the interviewer were asking trick questions, but people were biting. They were saying things like, yeah, my taxes went down during that year, but the tax breaks didn't go into effect until 2 years later. They're just ignorant to the facts of the matter.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we're done then. I just don't think it's a function of intelligence. I think it's a function of being woke. At the end of the day, it's about knowing how our consciousness works, how we're manipulated. And to me, that's what being woke is being able to go, I know that I have a subconscious mind, and that if somebody says something enough times, it's really hard for me to fight just believing it because of pure repetition. If somebody leads me with 17 true statements, and then the next thing they say, I'm likely, just by the nature of the heuristics of the human mind and my consciousness, number 18 is likely to be true too. I understand this. And so I fight against it. This is why I consider myself a pedantic a-hole, is because I want the nuance to be understood. I want people to listen to the very minute details. I want people to think at a critical, like I took a class in college called critical thinking. That should be mandatory from 8th grade on through high school and into college. Like they literally taught us how to decipher bullshit. Like, is that not, like, why should, like, that would be so vehemently opposed by every politician right now because all they do is bullshit. Both sides, all sides. Except Bernie and AOC. And
sure
Mamdani. I like Mamdani too.
Was brown, like you, so.
I hear he's going to make everybody in New York forcibly eat halal. That's a headline. It's a bullshit headline, but it's a headline. He's like, look, if you want chicken and rice, go to whatever the restaurant was, but I'm not going to force you to eat halal. Like, that's what the opposing party is doing, is they're spending millions and millions, hundreds of millions of dollars to smear him and make people afraid. They're trying to use fear.
That's what everybody does.
Throw in the trash.
How much money was spent on getting Obama to...
Obama?
Sorry. Obama to... How much money did they spend to get people to think that he wasn't an American citizen?
Lots. And why?
What do you mean, why? If I can find enough flaws in this person, then I can... And this person has less flaws, I'm going to vote for this person. Does it make it right? No.
You think it's a function of a balancing act of flaws?
I think now it's a function of lesser of two evils. How many times have we heard the term lesser of two evils?
My entire political awareness. My entire life. 50
That is
some
what
years.
it's come down to. People understand that shit is not good, but we're just, like, it seems now that the people are trying, instead of reforming because they don't believe they have enough power, people are just saying, okay, what's going to keep my country alive for 4 more years? What, because both presidents have the potential, both candidates have the potential to collapse America in 4 years. Which president gives me a better probability to get through the next 4 years? So hopefully the next 4 years will be different after that. That's kind of the state we're in right now. How, like...
I don't know if I agree with that, but that's an interesting take from a young
That's the majority
mind.
of the public. Most people are sitting there saying...
I don't think they think that deeply. I disagree. I think most people are like, I identify with this person.
No, I think you're completely skewed.
Dude, we live in a purple state. There's so many red hats I run across. People openly support Trump.
There's plenty of those people. There's plenty of both people, or people on both sides that are, I identify with this. But for the most part, I would say anybody who has half of
A brain.
a brain,
Yeah, that was coming.
sit there and go, well, I'm not going to revolt. I have, rent to pay. I have kids. I have a family. I can't really let America go into shambles right now. I'm going to vote for this person because I don't believe in what they're saying, and I know that they're probably corrupt because the last 10 were corrupt, but they're going to keep the country running a little bit longer. I just need to buy some time, so maybe then, like, it's this false hope of maybe the next president will be different. Maybe
I don't know.
They'll fix America in this way.
It's an interesting perspective, but I don't think I don't see it that way. I think most people, there's 3 groups. There's the people who identify with one side. You got your red hat MAGA motherfuckers who are just dumb as rocks. You've got the people who support the left and go, please take care of the people. I know you're still corrupt and you've got the rules rigged, but at least they claim to care about us. And you have the extreme on both sides. But in that middle, you've got people who don't think and play along enough to know. Then they pay attention in the last couple of months before an election. And they're like, well, who is out here? Oh, we've got Mr. Trump, and we've got, is it Bernie? Is it Newsom? Who do we got here? Wait, Newsom's a communist? Trump, my grocery prices have gone up. Like, I think that last 2 months before an election is what you're talking about, that undecided middle.
I don't think it's because that they are not paying attention. I think that they pay attention and they go, ugh. Well, I'm just going to kind of wait it out and see, like, who ends up being worse right before I go.
But even still, the reason that Trump pulled ahead at the end, because Kamala was doing well until Trump, based on apparently Barron's recommendations, went on all the bro podcasts.
The Scholes,
Yeah, the Rogan sphere, right? Like, and that swayed them. And even now, they're like, oh my God, he fucking lied to us. Like, these idiot fucking comedians have big enough audiences that they don't realize they're influential. That's all they wanted to do is go, I want to be influential. I want people to pay attention to me. And now they have it. They're like, well, it's not my fault.
It's not their fault.
They have an obligation.
They have an obligation to give everybody a platform. Most of those podcasts
No,
would
that's
sit
not the
there and
obligation
say,
I speak of.
Rogan said, yeah, I'd love to have Kamala on. And then Trump even said something like, oh, she would do so terrible. And he goes, I don't think she would.
But you know what
Scholz
you know what Rogan's saying now, though? I'll have anybody on but Newsom. Anybody but that guy.
I'll have to read into that.
I heard him say it, unless it was, I mean, like, and I've watched videos on him saying it. He's afraid.
Scholz also said, like, all these podcasts said, I'd love to have Kamala on too. And Kamala could have swayed the votes, but she didn't. She was too afraid of losing the other side because she didn't want to play on the same field that Trump was playing on.
Well, if that's the case, that's how she lost, because you have
That's
to fight
exactly
fire
how
with
she
fire.
lost. That's exactly how she lost.
Oh, I don't know if that's exactly. I think the system was rigged. There's evidence and there's data that shows.
I think the system has always been rigged, but
I mean, like voting machine rigged.
I think
I've seen evidence. I'm just saying. David Pakman shows it. Has a couple of guys on there. Go ahead.
Because of the influence that those podcasters have, and the fact that Kamala didn't want to go on those podcasts because she didn't want to stray away from her loyal people.
It's not that she didn't want to go on. What I've heard from, and I think it was her, she's like, there was parameters. People were like, they said these are what, like, she had certain rules that she wanted to abide, and they said, well, we can't do that.
What rules did she want to provide?
I don't know, and I'm not taking her side in this. I think it was
She's still fucked up. If she said, I want to do it, but I want to do it this way, I don't want to do it that way, because...
Yeah, if they didn't agree, then she's like, well, fine, I'm not going to do it. Like, fair. Like, that. She's like, fuck it, be a man and go on and take what you get, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, did I just say Kamala should have been be a man? Like, you're a politician in a man's world. You got to play by those rules.
Nut up.
Nut up. I just thought, what was it? Somebody, like, it was SNL. It was like, nut up, kids. Like, it was a really funny joke. I'll put the...
Either way, I know you don't agree with me, but I do think we've gotten to the point of everybody knows that America is kind of fucked. We're not in a good spot. We're very divided. And a lot of people don't believe that, they're impacted all that much by who's president, which at first it was like that, but now it's getting to the point where it's like, okay, things are getting a little shaky. And
it's beyond shaky.
Okay, I think America needs mass reform, but I'm not the person to do it. And I think Trump is going to give me a little bit more time, or I think Kamala is going to give me a little bit more time, or Newsom, or AOC, they're going to give me a little bit more time to, get my shit in order. And
time before what, though? What's at the other side? What's on the other side of that time element? What are you talking about?
That's the ignorance of the people believing. And I was definitely one of them of like...
It's not so bad. If we elect him again, it's not as bad as you think.
You always think you have more time. I'm not gonna chase my dream today because I have to put food on the table, but tomorrow I will. And then tomorrow comes, okay, well, I just had to pay rent, so maybe the next time, maybe tomorrow I'll do this. And it's just that, like, terrible cycle of putting off what is the right thing to do because things come up.
Tomorrow is promised to no one.
And people don't understand that. And people are thinking that America, like, there's going to be a tomorrow for America, but we're reaching the point where in 2 years from now, there might not be. Whether or not, do I think Trump's going to try to run for a third election? No, I think he's going to be too old. I think that maybe it'll be an election, maybe another right person will get put in. Like, that's more probable than Trump being a third-term president. I think there will be an election, but I don't think anything will change. I think a lot of people are going to be like, okay, who's the lesser of two evils? J.D. Vance or Gavin Newsom? Those are, like, in my opinion, I know it's really far out, but those are going to be the two major candidates. They're already, like, it's kind of already in the writing. And people are going to sit there and go...
I don't think Vance has a chance at it.
Vance absolutely has a chance at it.
No, he's got too much wavering. He has no credibility.
So? Trump never had any type of credibility.
No, he had credibility in terms of popularity. J.D. Vance is not popular. The reason Trump won was because he was popular. He had his TV show, you're fired, blah, 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 all the bullshit over the years.
Why do you think J.D. Vance was carrying Charlie Kirk's casket out of Air Force Two?
Because he's a bitch? I don't know.
Well, first of all, that's not a bitch thing. That's like a...
No, he's a bitch. He called Trump America's Hitler. He's a bitch.
No,
Fuck him.
I'm saying, but the optics of him carrying Charlie Kirk's casket look good.
Was meant to make him look good. That's my point. He needed to do that. Wasn't there because he was popular. He was doing that so he could become
gaining
popular.
his popularity right now. He didn't need popularity to become vice president. He just needed to get picked.
Right, but that's my point. He's not popular. Nobody knew about him. He has sex with couches. He dressed up in drag, and everything he's ever said is questionable. He will get destroyed because he doesn't have the
same thing about.
Hold on.
You said the same thing.
He doesn't have the charisma that Trump has.
He won't need it.
That's my okay.
He'll have
Fine.
his other ways.
I'm just trying to state my point.
Kamala really did not have the charisma that Trump had, or Biden certainly did not have the charisma that Trump had. But because Trump fucked it so bad.
Here's my point. The reason that I don't think it's J.D. Vance, and let me say this, is that
who's going to be Trump Jr.?
I don't think it'll be J.D. Vance because it doesn't matter. Like I said at the beginning, if Trump drops dead today, nothing changes. Because it's not Trump that's in charge, it's Project 2025. It's the architects
who started that? Who was one of the biggest guys in that?
Peter Thiel.
Who funds who?
J.D. Vance.
Bingo. You're right. I don't think J.D. Vance is like...
I think Peter Thiel's smart enough to realize Vance is fucked and they'll find somebody better.
No, I think they're going to use J.D. Vance as a puppet. They're going to stick their hand up his ass.
They already have. It's up elbow deep.
It'll be him running. Who else in the Republican Party would run?
It will probably be a no-name. Their smartest thing to do would be to get a no-name in there so they can come in clean slate, go, everything they did was crazy. The best move that they have is to do what I said, which Trump should do with the Epstein files, is just own it. Go, that last administration was fucking crazy. I don't agree with any of it. I've got some ideals. I want to get back to good, strong Republican conservative ideals and just keep doing the same shit.
That's sure, okay.
That's how they win.
That might happen. Gavin Newsom probably going to be the guy.
I would fucking hope so. He's the only one speaking sense. I don't know what's in his heart, but I'd like to think that
that's the issue. Is like last
what's in your heart.
A lot of people are like, Trump's saying a lot of things that are resonating in my heart.
I want to grab him by the pussy. Absolutely, that resonated in my.
He's gonna release the pedophile files. Sure, he's gonna do all these things to kind of like get America back on track. That's resonating within me.
But the thing is this, is we've been shown time and time again that the current Republican Party is not doing what they say. They've had such crazy ideals.
But we're ignorant to believe that the Democratic Party is going to do what we ask.
Stop for it. It's been shown that their crazy output, this is what we're going to do. They've been shown time and time again that they are lying, cheating, and only out for themselves. They're not releasing the files. Everything else that has just been shown that they are not going to do. So if anybody goes up against that, they're going to have to be relatively clean and have a track record. Newsom has that.
Sure, he does.
Right? But in order to get around that, the Republican candidate's going to have to be somebody that's not part of that. Because the swamp is evident. Like, they are clearly just...
Which then brings us to the conspiracy of they have made the swamp so
stinky.
Obvious.
Yeah.
They have made Israel so obvious. It feels calculated. It feels calculated. It feels like there's something deeper.
You're thinking it's calculated versus sloppy? I don't
think they're sloppy. I don't. I think that they have way too many resources. They have way too much power. They have way too many people who are very, very intelligent behind the scenes that are running the show to let them be sloppy. You get sloppy, you start criticizing this, you start saying, I don't believe in that, boom, you're shot in the neck. And now your wife is saying, nobody will ever be like my husband, but I see a lot of my husband in J.D. Vance. What? That's what happens.
Yeah.
When you get sloppy. They don't allow people to get sloppy.
I think they didn't get, I don't know if it's sloppy. I think their hubris got ahead of them. They said, we can go here. We can push this limit so much. And they forgot the rules of the game. And if you go back to my conspiracy theory, which is they know the end is coming and so they don't give a fuck. Maybe it's not sloppy. Maybe it's not lazy. Maybe it's just... You know what? We're all fucked. So we're going to do whatever. We don't care. You believe it. We have enough money to tell you what we want you to believe, and enough of you will believe it.
It's possible. I think the big determining factor of whether or not the end is coming. So if the end is coming, then you're right. If the end isn't coming, which neither of us really know, obviously.
I know.
If the end is not coming, then there is something deeper behind the curtains, and they are allowing us to see this because they need to, they got to keep us engaged. They got to get us mad at something.
They have to divide us.
Even if we unify together of like we hate Israel, which I don't hate Israel, I'm just saying like, or we condemn Israel for the genocide,
The atrocities,
for lying,
ethnic cleansing.
but Israel was just another pawn in the game. Israel, America, they could just be pawns. And there's something deeper. And then whatever is next after this, there will be another villain that people can get behind and say, they're evil, we don't agree with this. And it'll just be another smokescreen and another smokescreen. And then people will believe that...
The next level of smokescreen.
They'll believe like, oh, okay, we finally figured out that Israel's like this because, what's her name? Epstein's wife.
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Ghislaine
Wasn't his wife.
Because Robert Maxwell had all the textbooks. Have we talked about that on this podcast?
You mentioned it.
Robert Maxwell bought McGraw-Hill and all the history books and the math books and all these things. And that is what we use today. I remember using those textbooks. Mm-hmm. And we sit there and we go, oh my God, we figured it out. And then they're going to create a deeper layer. That way,
they're going to expose themselves just enough to make you think that you've found them out.
Yeah,
but
as soon as they hit that deeper layer, they expose the last part. And they hit a deeper layer and they expose the last part. That's probably, like, if the end isn't coming, that's what it is. I don't believe in a slop unless if, like, they're like, yeah, Atlas 1-3 is an alien spaceship and they're coming here to fuck us up.
Maybe they're coming here to clean us up.
I love that.
I would too.
But, I mean, only they will know.
So either it's lazy, sloppy, or aliens.
You really just made my point sound alien-esque. No. You said it's either, because your thing is, if it's aliens, it's lazy or sloppy. My whole point is, it's either lazy and sloppy because it's aliens, or they're just giving us enough to keep us engaged so that they can keep doing the shit behind the scenes that we don't see until 10 years from now. And then...
Well, yeah, the government obviously does that because they have, 20, 25 years before they have to release files and unclassify them. Like,
I mean, yeah, but a lot of the stuff wasn't even classified that, people...
I just mean in theory, like, the government has a buffer, especially with, like, knowledge, technology...
They're way too smart. They're way too smart to get sloppy. So if they're getting sloppy, it's because we are fucked. Yes.
I think they're getting sloppy because we have the technology to find out. We've got whistleblowers. We've got instant access to everybody on the planet between Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. Like, the ability for us to communicate globally instantly has changed the rules. They didn't expect it, or maybe they did. Maybe to your point, they knew it was coming, so they're waiting for us to find them out because they've already got 3 layers beyond that ready to buffer against their control of us. Maybe, but I think it comes down to, and this is my final thought, is I think it comes down to those that know how the conscious mind and unconscious mind works, and what do people do with it? Do they use it for good, or do they use it for fucking evil? Because right now, there's an overwhelming majority of people in power using it for fucking evil, and it's disgusting. So I think it's sloppy that they've allowed that to be seen. I don't think many people would argue that it seems evil, letting all these people with this shutdown go on and only partially releasing the food stamps. Like, we're the most powerful government on the planet, and we can't figure out how to take care of our people. They're just going, we don't care.
Well, Brennan and I were talking about it, which yes, I agree. Brennan and I were talking about it, and we go, the longer that this shutdown goes, the better it is.
Why?
Because if we aren't going to allow people to get food through EBT or what was it, SNAP?
Mm-hmm.
If these workers are not getting paid, and then now they're getting threatened that like they're not going to get their back pay either. All these things, that's going to piss people off. So Brennan and I agreed that an advisor is going to come to Trump and be like, hey, you got to shut this down because people are getting angry. Like, it's not going to get good. But as of right now with the government shutdown, it's a good thing the longer people are deprived of their resources because, I mean, it's very known that to keep a society from revolting, you keep food on their table, you keep comfortability.
You keep them numb.
But if you lack the comfortability, that's dangerous. That could lead to a revolt. So if it is pure ineptness, then that time is probably coming sooner than we think if this shutdown goes for another 30, 40, 50, 100 days. I want this shutdown to go longer. I want people to go out there and be like, no, we need change.
He showed off his opulent bathroom and boasted about his Roaring Twenties party. Like, I think what he's doing is signaling there's a Great Depression coming. The Roaring Twenties were awesome until late 1929 when we hit the Great Depression. I think he's telling us what's coming. He's going to declare a state of emergency. He's going to stop elections. He's going to maintain control. Him and his sons, or whoever, he's going to do that. And the powers that be are going to be like, that's not what we agreed to. And then there's going to be a powerful coup. And it's going to be between those in power, not Trump. But Trump's going to go rogue. He's going to be a dictator that has been put in place. And then he's going to go rogue. And our government will take him out. And the question is do the people take him out? Marie Antoinette style and behead her? Because that's what he's saying is like, let them eat cake. Fuck them. We're not going to take care of our people. That's what Marie Antoinette said when she said, let them eat cake. It wasn't like a decorative cake. Cake is the crumbs that form inside of an oven. You scrape that out, and that's what cake is. And so when she said, let them eat cake, they're like, fuck the peasants. And that's what's happening right now. So he's going to try and remain in power against Project 2025 and Peter Thiel and all of them. So there's going to be a triple faction. The people versus Trump versus those that put Trump in power.
The elites.
Right.
It's
and
possible.
thank God we have the Second Amendment.
I think it's fun to talk about all these things, but I also understand the fact that, and I've been watching the show The Diplomat.
Not familiar, but okay.
It's a show on Netflix, and it's basically like gives you the behind the scenes of what diplomats do and like the behind the door or conversations.
How the sausage is made.
Like all the conversations that like the public will never know about. And it's just a TV show. It's fictional, obviously. But it's probably pretty accurate in the fact of like there are so many conversations behind closed doors with all these politicians.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a fucking clue. We don't have a clue what's going on. All we can do is sit here and theorize. We can take the facts. And I would say, we're missing... The only theory that we're missing is that they are trying to do good. And as the American people, it's so hard to sit here and say that they are trying to do good. So we've hit on 2 of the 3 theories that it could possibly be. I'm sure there are more in nuance. I would love to hear Andrew Bustamante talk about stuff like this. I know. I would love to ask him questions.
See if we can get him on. We'll ask him.
That'd be fun. That'd be cool.
We'll invite him out.
Yeah.
You probably have more connections than I do in that realm.
To Bustamante?
Does he ever come into your restaurant and eat?
No. And we're not going to talk about who else comes into my restaurant to eat. That's a bad idea.
I didn't say anybody. I did find it interesting that a fighter came in and ordered a steak in a massive, wonderful steakhouse, extra well done with extra ketchup.
That was funny.
That just is like...
yeah. But the other figures...
Okay, so we can say Rampage Jackson went into your restaurant and your hands were in his live stream for half a minute?
Yeah. My hands got more views than this podcast does, so...
Fuck is that supposed to mean?
You fight for 10 years.
Let's keep going.